On.
We are live on the air.
Good evening, Bobcat Nation. Welcome to the Bobcat Blitz. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. I'm here coming to you live from the cage. Where tonight, boys basketball has the rematch. They're taking on Port Charlotte, 7 p.m. tip-off. Back in our Zoom studio, our host is always Mr. John Rawlings.
Hey, good night and good afternoon and blessings to all of you. We've got a huge show planned, but the biggest thing we could say is support local sports. Get out and check out our athletes out there. We've got a great season going on. Sean, you want to give us a quick update on what's happening out there at the cage?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to bring it. Actually, I'm going to do a real quick update because I got a chef here. Guys, come on in here, Coach. All right, before we get to our season here, can you see Coach? Okay, he's a little bit more girth than I do, more attractive than me. There we go. So I have been bragging how this year's concession stand has been a little bit different here at Northport. It's no longer the hot dog and cold pizza. We got barbecue, and this is because of a partnership that football's been helping out with. I got Coach Palmer, Coach Allshouse. Why don't you introduce how this all came about and what are you serving tonight for us and what's the plan going ahead maybe next year and all that?
Yeah, we decided we wanted to help out the football team, help out the basketball team, and we, decided to do something a little different this year with concessions by bringing just more to the norm. So, we have pulled pork that I smoke personally, hot dogs, cheese fries. We have the chicken tenders and loaded mac and cheese. I mean, we do it all. Kind of a little different twist for the people to give them something different than your norm.
That's awesome. John, can you hear that okay? We got some jackhammers going on upstairs on us. Can you hear him? Can you hear Coach all right?
Absolutely. He's doing a great job. I appreciate the fact that he went into all of the details, and now I can hardly do the show because I want to go over there and eat.
Oh, wait. I can smell it the whole way. And at least zoom out here a little bit.
Those are the funnel cake fries.
They got double fryers. They've got everything. It's pretty cool. And I told Coach this. I told John this. That it's getting famous. The referees are asking about it. I've had coaches ask about it. It's been pretty cool here. Who reached out to you to do this?
Oh, well, Terry and I kind of just came up with the idea of saying, let's, help these guys out, raise some money. Because it's not all, like I said, football. If track wants it or whoever, we help them out. Yeah.
Yo, I like the track idea.
So you might see us out with the track this year.
How about a couple baseball games? That's coming up soon. Softball.
Listen, anybody that wants to help raise, it's not all for football. It's to help athletics period.
That's awesome.
So that's why we came up with that idea with doing it, and stay tuned for our website, 941 Sports website, and we're gonna have it up and running, and I'll let you know, and you guys get that on the Facebook page now.
941 Sports. Mm-hmm. Is that 941 Apparel or not?
It's just 941 Sports. I'm not sure. I think it's 941sports.com. Don't quote me. The website's not always finished.
Gotcha. Okay, and that'll be highlighting local teams.
Yes, highlight everything going on around here and what we're doing, and we're the 941 Pit Crew, which is Terry and I. Where we going to be.
I like it. 941 Pit Crew. I like that.
Yeah.
So, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, John, I'm going to let him go. Do you have any questions for him, Coach Allshouse, before he goes?
Other than that, what kind of diet do you have to be on after you eat at your place over there?
What kind of diet do you have to have after you've had a beautiful dinner here?
Oh, just make sure you walk a little bit. Walk it off because it's definitely healthy.
How is that mac and cheese, by the way?
Say it again. We can't hear you, the jackhammers.
How is the mac and cheese?
Mac and cheese. That's how the mac and cheese is.
Mac and cheese is really good. Like I said, it's homemade. It's not something out of the box. Everything's homemade like that when we do as far as pulled pork and the mac and cheese. We're not doing it tonight, but we are going to bring it back for the last game.
And that's going to be next Tuesday, senior night. Yeah. Excellent. You got the loaded fries and all that?
Oh, the loaded fries.
The kids love the loaded fries. They got the pork on top.
Yes, I think the funnel fries is like one of our biggest sellers because it's like being at the fair.
Exactly.
It's like the funnel
minus the diesel.
Minus the diesel and the spilling the stuff when you go get it. Yeah.
Awesome. Coach, I want to thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
hey,
man.
by the way, they bribe me every game with a free pulled pork sandwich. That's how I got them on here. So
there you go.
Take care. Good to see you, man. That's awesome. I want to do that. Get go back to work because we're going to have a tip-off at 7 o'clock. But, yeah, you mentioned earlier how great – I'm going to pull this back a little bit. This jackhammer is way too loud. So you mentioned earlier, John, how great our season is. I would go so far as to say this is the best year total so far, if you include football, cross country, swim team. We had a state swimmer as well. I bet at the end of the year, if you add up all the success and accomplishments of all these teams, it's amazing what I'm seeing so far this season. So hope baseball, softball, tennis, and of course track and field rounds us up here. We're almost in the spring semester. Almost the spring semester. But before we do so, I did see Coach Duque on there. We're going to let Coach Hans come in here. He's going to double duty for us. He does the girls varsity soccer as well as he assists with the girls track team. So I don't know if Coach Hans is on there. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Coach Hans, congratulations. I put on the Facebook page several times now. Your girls varsity team locked in. I couldn't believe this. You told me it's the first time ever they locked up the regular season district. We've had some really good teams. That just shows you how hard the competition is down here. You'll have next Monday's night. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you win, you'll have the next one at home, and if you win that, I believe you host regionals. That's the old format. So, am I anywhere near that?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Wow, Coach Hans, that's 3 playoff games in a row potentially, and you could maybe go further at home. I don't know.
I think we have a chance. I think we have a chance to go.
Wow, look at that.
We're trying to shoot for regionals finals here, so
wow,
we'll see about that.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I've enjoyed announcing not all the games, but some of the games for the ladies this year. They are a fun product to watch. Isabella's doing great. Go ahead.
When's the last time we had regionals and all that at our school?
3 years ago, we went to regional semifinal with the boys together.
And we had that at our home field.
No.
We went to, let's see. No, yes, we play at home. We host Venice that time.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yes.
So there is a distinct advantage to having a home match, and isn't there a distinct advantage to having a home crowd show up?
Definitely yes, and mainly when you walk into regionals, because potentially you'll be traveling to Tampa or beyond that, and if you go to state semifinals, you're going to Tallahassee or Jacksonville, so you better stay home.
Yeah,
exactly.
And,
John,
and
I was very lucky.
The value of having a supporting cast at home with the fans. Should fans feel like they should come out and watch this team and appreciate what they're seeing?
Definitely yes. I feel like the whole season is usually like that. We don't have a lot of people coming out, but they're missing out. When we start advancing into districts and regionals, then the crowd starts showing up. 2 years ago, when we made it to regionals, the size of the crowd at that game was comparable to a football game. That was the first ever for us.
Nice.
Fantastic though. That's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
John, I was going to cut in real quick. Before I left the high school as a teacher, I was very lucky to announce a regional final of basketball. And Coach Hans is right. The energy just it explodes. It's amazing. It's so nice to see the crowd come out. I love the fact that they came out for you last time, Coach. We got to get them out again. So,
yes.
Hans, what are you feeling about your team? It feels like the offense starting to go up a little bit here. I saw some serious goals the other night. Isabella got Player of the Week. Another Sun Preps Player of the Week for Northport High School. I think it's a record for us this year so far.
If you compare to other years, it wouldn't seem that powerful, but this year we're a more balanced team. We haven't scored as many goals like when Spurk or Purvis were here, that will score like 70, 80 goals. But if you look at the score sheet we don't have that many goals against us. And we also don't play. Our schedule is stronger than usual. That's why also you see the goal is not as much, except that Sarasota game, everything else was very close.
Well, clean sheets are always special in my eye. I used to play defense and goalie, so anytime I see 0 on that defensive side, that's pretty cool to me. That's fantastic. Who are you going to take on next Monday, theoretically? What are the 2 matchups here? I know they haven't played yet.
We expect Venice to top Sarasota tomorrow. And
okay, so Venice, Sarasota. Okay.
We'll be hosting most likely Venice. And on the other side, pretty sure Riverview is going to beat Lehigh. And Riverview will have to go to Lake Ranch. And that will be a match because Riverview is growing.
Yes, I was here for the boys' game review. That's always a tough program to beat. How you doing?
When you get to regionals, is the competition stiffer?
Yes, definitely yes, because you're playing against teams from Tampa and they have a bigger pool of players. They have many more clubs than we have. We pretty much are playing with our local fusion and a handful of players who actually play in Tampa in the clubs. And then you have to compare with schools that have plays our TVU or the Chargers, like big clubs with a lot of money. So we just have to go there and scratch and do what we can.
So all these things matter, don't they?
Yes, definitely yes.
Sean, do you have anything else?
Yeah, well, we're getting close to playoff time. I am glad you had the week off because you can rest up some minor injuries out there. Sorry about that. My wife's telling me to raise the camera up. There we go. How is your injury report doing here? They getting some rest, good practices? You finding a good balance there? How do you keep your team sharp with practically a week off of gameplay?
We took a break today. We watched film. Definitely, there are some shin splints going around because of the turf. We play a lot of home games, so that's gonna, take a toll on them. Friday will be off too, so tomorrow we hit the pitch. Thursday again, we got Duranso with a hip issue, but she's getting back on track. Even like that, she was able to score twice at Venice, so we'll be fine. Everybody's healthy, everybody's good, so we should be ready on Monday.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And then John, he's got to turn right around in a few weeks and go out to the track. He's got the girls team coming up there.
Yes, and we have a similar crowd. I'll say about 10 or so players will go to track to do different things: run, jump, throw.
Fantastic.
That's an important combination there, isn't it?
I've always been an advocate of them playing as many sports as they want to. They gotta be happy before anything else. I know their love is soccer. If you ask somebody like Malia, that's her thing, soccer. But I encourage them to, cross. Most of them do cross. Then they come and jump into track. And in track, they're free a little bit more to just choose. I have 2 or 3 who throw, and then we have some runners. So they're free to explore what they want. And at the end, it's going to help us in soccer because they will acquire more skills.
Will you, Coach, will you be done with your soccer season? Let's say you go all the way to the finals. Does that finish before track and field? I believe it does, doesn't it? There's no overlap?
It's going to overlap. It's going to overlap. If we go all the way, we'll be talking about almost March, I think.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, last year it did. We overlap a little bit.
Gotcha.
Well, up north, if you were playing in March, you're still playing in snow.
Oh yes.
So at least in Florida, we've got soccer season that the winter months are not really affecting us, but we do have some cold weather. Has that been a factor in some of the play out there?
In the past it was, and for some reason, every time we'll go to Bredon River when they were in our district, it was miserable. It was miserable because it will be like 38, 40 degrees up there. But we figure out how to combat the cold, and I think we got used to that, and we can use it to our advantage to stay cool.
Cool. Good. Do you see more injuries when the weather changes like that?
When it is wet, mainly we risk knees and ankles like that, or some clashes that are not intended. It happens when it is wet, but other than that, no. Other than the keeper, maybe a finger or something like that, but other than that, no.
Cool. All right. Sean, you got anything?
Yeah, I do. Just announcing wise, fans, FHSAA tickets are a little bit different. I don't think they let them do passes and all that. Each round's $1 more. You might want to check online on that. But from my point of view, I have to read it's actually a cool thing, a gigantic FHSAA playoff script. So I got to butt in and say all these promos and sponsorships. So it's a little bit different than a regular home game where I can cut up more. I got to be a little bit more serious. I'm not supposed to be as I got to be more neutral, that kind of thing. So I'm lucky, John. I get to call the Monday game, and if we win, I get to call the Thursday game. So I get to have 2 playoff games next week if they make it that far. And then as long as not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after that, I can do their playoffs as well. So
no, we're
really
lucky to
happy
have you there.
on.
You really do a great job for us. The girls are like, and the parents and everybody's very happy about that. Thank you very much.
That's it. Again, we keep plugging, guys. We need announcer support. My time out there is coming to an end, so I keep saying it every game. I need someone to come in and want to do the JV games, or I could teach them how to do the other. It's not that hard. You pick it up so quickly. And it's fun to do. It really is fun to do. So if you're listening out there,
and it's appreciated. It's appreciated too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, exactly. Well, Coach Hans, can you stay on for a little bit longer when we get Fu on? You can talk about track and field, or you got to head on out?
No, get Fu. Go ahead. I'll be here.
All right.
Well, before we transition here, Coach, I want to go ahead over the schedule here. Last night, your ladies basketball took on Venice. Didn't quite get the result they were looking for. Tonight, JV wrestling and girls wrestling. They're up at Riverdale. That's Tampa. That's Fort Myers. Of course, the big game tonight. I'll talk about in just a second here. The basketball game against Fort Charlotte. Nothing tomorrow. Cheer. We got to talk about our cheer team. My goodness, they're going to states. Fantastic news in that. It's not 2 weeks. But before that, they're doing some kind of all-out nationals tournament in Orlando. That's going to be tomorrow. Girls weightlifting's already at their districts. They're going to take at Charlotte. Girls basketball will be home Thursday night. They're taking on Parrish. It's a 5:37 split. Friday, wrestling. Big Colby Singletary Memorial. They're going to Palmetto Ridge. That's down near Naples area. Boys basketball. Man, they got a schedule. They got to go to Booker on Friday night after playing Port Charlotte tonight. Booker, all of a sudden, they woke a sleeping giant on that one. They have been good these last couple seasons. They just beat Riverview, by the way. So we're going up against a tough schedule. Girls basketball will be here Friday night, Bishop Barreau. I might have mistaken the tailgate. I'm not sure if it's this Friday or next Friday for the girls. They take on a Friday night game, so I'll get some clarification on that. But speaking of tailgate, earlier today, student government hosted their first ever tailgate. They had a little food session out there in the courtyard. They had walking tacos, lemonade, music. Students, if you're watching, it's only $2 tickets tonight. Get on down here. We need everybody here tonight. We especially have to rebound. If you got any of the games Saturday, we didn't do too well at Wally Keller. A little disappointing result, not our usual standard there. So we can't keep affording to have these trends of losses into the season. We got to find a really good win here tonight. When we took on Port Charlotte about a month ago at Port Charlotte, very tight game. We had early foul trouble by one of our star players, Brennan Engel. He had 2 fouls in the first quarter. He sat out. That changed the entire game. Ended up being a defensive game. We lost, towards the end there. So I think we're going to have a big rebound tonight. I'm looking forward to us coming out. Coach Roten for Port Charlotte always has a good team. This year's team is very young, but extremely good on defense. So I don't know where it's going to go tonight. So that's our week for this week. Winter sports starting to wind down. We're getting the playoff season. So it's time to bring out the previews. We are going to start off first. Spring sport preview. Track and field, one of my favorites to announce. Coach Fu, what do you got for this season?
It's early, so it's hard to tell. Honestly, with you talking to Coach Duque, we are waiting for winter sports to end to get a little bit more athletes out. But usually the best track and field teams generally were the years when all sports were doing great. So I'm looking forward to our track season because that means we're getting a lot of good athletes from other sports. So potentially we have a chance to be a pretty good team this year. Girls side, we're still pretty young. We have a lot of solid athletes, but overall we're just trying to plug girls in. We're looking for more girls mainly. But boys team should be strong. We were young in sprints last year, so the sprints might have to be the event that kind of carries us this year. We lost our MVP Evan Crane, who's running D1 right now, so that's a big loss on the distance side. But overall, I'm looking forward to the season.
Hey, Coach Fu, could you explain to our listeners out there, our viewers out there, how big is the track and field team at the high school level? Like how many events we talk about? How many students? You have a JV division. How big is this? I mean, it's a big team. How much do you have roughly every year?
Well, we usually start off around 80, 90 kids, and it does shrink down. It does shrink down. We generally go into a varsity track meet with about 55 kids.
Wow. Is that me?
Nope, that's you. Go ahead.
Sorry, Coach. How many how many events do you have in high school? I don't remember how many there are.
I believe there's 17.
Wow, 17 events. Okay. And how much do you feel, like 2 or 3 deep on those, or what's the maximum you can run at any given meet?
It's usually 3.
3.
Sometimes the bigger meets do 2, and then district can be up to 4 sometimes. So
And you have
depends
a
on the
JV
meet.
squad?
Yeah, JV squad. We have I think we have 5 meets this year for JV, and that's basically experience for them. They run any event they want.
John, years ago, I used to tell my students the reason why I like track and field personally, they've got a sport for just about every body type out there. You don't have to be a certain body type to do track and field. If you're short, if you're thick, if you're tall, they're going to find a sport for you. Doesn't mean you're going to be great at it, but they got an event for you. I think it's the most equal of all the sports out there for the students. So I've always been a fan of track and field. I never did track and field. I'd fall over my shoelace if I did anything. So I really enjoyed it. I first came out to help Coach Fu. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many years ago it was. I think I did shot put judging back when my daughter was about that big. So I did judging here, judging there. And then last year I finally hit up Coach Fu to let me announce a track and field event. Not sure if I should have done that. It's an all-day event, but it is fun. Fu, I've always enjoyed working for you. You got to let people know, why should they come out and volunteer for the track and field team? Because we always need volunteers.
Because we have a reputation of hosting great meets, and that's just not me bragging. You can ask coaches around the area.
No, it is by far the best.
We host great meets, but we can't host great meets if we don't have help. And we're running around sore handage. A lot of volunteers are doing double duty, but we make it happen. This year, they're doing something new in the state for track and field. It's called sanctioning a meet. So if you have a certified official at every event, your meet is considered sanctioned. What that means is, if say I have one of my top sprinters and he runs a 10.8, which is fast, and he qualified, and that's a qualifying time for regionals. So if he screws up, if he false starts or trips or something at districts, he still advances based off that 10.8 he ran at a sanctioned meet.
Yep.
So right now we're in the process of trying to make the Northport Invite a sanctioned meet, but we need more officials. And I offered any parents, anybody in the community who wants to be official for track and field, we will pay for your test and we will pay for you at the event.
And John and coaches say, our head officials are getting a little bit long in the tooth up there. And I mean that with respect, because I got gray hair, but we got to get some younger blood up the ranks here on our officiating.
Yeah.
So we don't talk about those guys. They're a little bit on the older side. We got to get these younger officials up.
Yeah, our 2 local officials are very old, and they work hard. They try their best, but
they do a great job.
Like you said, they have a lot of mileage under them.
With everything that's going on there, you've got a really short period of time to get yourself organized and get volunteers in place, right?
Right.
And the essential part isn't necessarily the athletes, because they do come out because they know the value of the program, right?
Right. We get athletes.
Oh yeah. What's the size of the track team now? How many athletes do you pull out?
Well, right now, like I said, we're in the conditioning phase, and we have about 50 kids out there.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, like I said, we're still waiting for the winter sports to end to get those athletes to come out.
What do you think the roster is going to look like when you get the winter athletes out too?
I bet probably each team, boys and girls, will probably be pushing 50 each.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot to keep in check, isn't it?
Right. But like I said before, when kids, we don't cut athletes, but when kids realize, well, I'm way down on the depth chart, they do tend to disappear.
But you give them a chance, Fu. That's what I like about it. And by the way, parent-wise, if you go to a track and field meet, what I love about it, it's a completely different mentality. You don't see people yelling negative things. There's no cussing around or insults. I see other teams supporting each other. I see parents from other schools. Very positive sport to get into if you're worried about your kid being around negative energy. It's a completely different mindset. It took me a while to get used to it because I'm used to the yelling and screaming part of high school athletics. And I go out there and everybody's having a good time and talking about their scores, their distances. I'm like, wow, what a nice thing to see. So parents, if you're listening and you got a kid who's a little bit on the maybe a little fragile in terms of negativity, it's a great sport to look into because they'll be supported. They'll be raised up right, nice and positive with Coach Fu, Coach Hans as well. I don't think I've ever seen Coach Hans raise his voice at anybody. So
no, it's very positive. You'll get encouragement from other teams too, other parents. It's incredible. I see kids finish race and they high five each other from other teams. I'm like, wow.
Well,
that's good.
So I'm going to stick with the conversation of culture because you've been around for a long time and have built the culture within the track program. So can you highlight the relationships with coaches and the volunteers that you've had over the years and talk about the culture that you've now ingrained into Northport track and field?
Well, it does start with the coaches. 100%. We're lucky enough because our coaching staff usually is 6. And, it's always changing year in, year out. This year we have everyone returning plus some. So I think we have 9 official coaches on the track team. And 3 of them are volunteers. So that is great that these men and women are willing to give up their time to help out our track team. But yeah, it's very positive. Obviously, if you know me, you know that I'm not the loudmouth, chew out the athletes kind of coach. And it's all about support. You want to support these kids the best you can, and you want to make them the best athlete and person. And that's one thing I expect from my athletes. I've moved on from many great athletes who, didn't have that right attitude. So being a better person is more important to me than running a fast time. That's the culture I try to project onto my team.
Hey, Coach, before I go, please think about that. Guys, I'm going to go on in. If you want to put me on mute, I'm going to show you some video of me walking in. So, Coach Fu, we'll talk more, obviously. I believe the 23rd is our first official home meet. That's in February. It's a Friday, I believe. Coach Hans, I can't wait to see you on Monday and your ladies. So just go ahead and mute me. I'll go ahead and walk us on in. We can see the cage. Don't forget, students, it's not too late to come on in. We got the big match tonight. We're taking on Port Charlotte in the cage. $2 student tickets. Coaches, I'll see you later. Take care, guys.
Thanks, bud. So he's got the game going on. I got 2 coaches in the house, and can you tell us anything else critical that the students need to know or parents need to know about the startup of track and field?
Well, like I said before, we don't cut athletes. We let every athlete finish the entire season. Our tryouts is actually our preseason meet, which is on February 16th. And we treat that as a tryout. Kids can run whatever event they want, and we take the top 3 of each event, and those are our varsity athletes. Everyone else runs JV. So that you will get a chance to participate no matter what.
And definitely making sure that the paperwork is done, because sometimes we struggle with that. Kids forget, parents forget, and of course they cannot participate because of that.
Right. So you've got, I was a track and cross country and a marathon runner back in the day. It's been a couple hot minutes since I've done that, but I will say that if you've got a kid out there that wants to experience track and field, there's a lot to be gained from it. There's a lot of memories to be made, and there's a lot of achievements. No matter what level you're at, there's a lot of achievements that can advance conversations later on in the years to come, because it's some of these events and some of these things that happen in track and field, they're just like any other sport. They're life-changing moments for a lot of these athletes, and to watch them transition. And I know that I can talk to both of you about this in all the sports that you do. To watch an athlete, and I'll go with you, Coach Fu, first, but all these athletes that go through this transition from being part of a team to being an athlete now contributing towards team wins to a member who goes on to accomplish personal goals. You watch that growth and you see that growth and you're encouraging that growth. But what do you see in the athlete as they go through that?
As in what?
As the athlete goes through those changes, what are you seeing as far as their growth and how they handle themselves and the maturity that they bring?
For the most part, uh, the athletes know what they're doing. They know how to train, compete, and win. But I have, like you said, I've seen some kids. Like I said, I don't cut them, and I've seen some kids go from barely able running a lap and growing and becoming great runners, and even being, like you said, contributing on teams, scoring points, helping us win meets. And it's a great feeling to see a little kid that didn't think he could and just grow and compete. I have a perfect example. I had a freshman about 2 years ago. He's a junior now, and kid was a little roly poly. Didn't mean to be offensive, but he was short, round, and he came every day. He practiced every day. He wasn't the greatest. Then last year he came and he grew, had a growth spurt. He still was the same person who wanted to work his butt off and became a contributor. And this year I'm hoping that he's going to be one of the fastest kids on our team.
Awesome. Awesome. And that development, that's important. And Hans, you've seen that same growth, haven't you?
Definitely, yes. And it was something that I saw my first few years coaching with Fu, that the kids would leave, graduate, and then they will always come back. And I always wanted that, down the road, as I was becoming a coach, to happen to me. And then I started to see uh, the girls and the boys coming back to track and to cross, to watch, to even volunteer with us. In soccer, they've been through this season. We had some players coming back to watch the game to support. So they become part of something. They grow. They know the project here. Yes, we want to win. We want to be district champions, all that. But we also, and I'm quoting Fu here, we're trying to create human beings here to help them.
And there's something to be said about that. And there's some the leadership that's being molded within the athlete is definitely a reflection of leadership as far as the coaches go. I legitimately, I still talk about Mr. Keg, who was my junior high track coach. I still talk about him relentlessly, wrote papers about him all the way through college, and had the opportunity to go back and not just help, but tell him how important it was. It for athletes, a lot of athletes, it's an easy transition. For a lot of us, though, you have the fact that the athlete counts on the sport and it actually encourages them to get through the schooling side of it. And I know that there's a direct correlation between a lot of athletes and school being a good thing, but there's something to be said for the athlete who needs the extracurricular activity to make them feel part of a team and get them through the educational side of it too. You guys want to talk about that for a little bit? Coach Fu?
Oh, 100%. Grades are very important, but um, I don't call that just a track and field thing. Honestly, it's all athletics. We focus on grades. Girls cross country won state championship in academics this year, and you can't even play sports unless you have good grades. So I can't take credit for that. But no, we do push keep your grades up. Um, no, you don't want to be ineligible. We've had that happen many times before when kids GPA drops too low. So that's on Coach Miller and our admin team. Like that's them making sure these athletes are getting their GPAs up.
And well, that's important though, and there's a good mix of athletes that are out there. But what are you doing with and we do have to mention this though, in a sense. We've talked about our great athletes and our great student athletes. The encouragement that comes from those athletes who are good at both to the student that may struggle. I know there's study groups for them. There's helping hands. There's encouragement that way too, isn't there? The bond.
We do that in soccer a little bit. Like it's a little bit easier because the squad's smaller, so we have some athletes that academically are all above, and they usually take care of those who are struggling in different areas. Usually it's math, the class that they struggle with. Some athletes sometimes issues at home. They have issues at home, so the girls usually like go and support them. So nobody walks alone off the pitch. We're always together, and that was in cross even when they struggle, and that goes into track too.
Awesome. Anything else you need to add in about track and cross country or track right now for your students or parents that need to hear from you, Coach Fu?
No, if anyone, like I said, it's not too late to join the team. Our first official fat practice is Monday. Any parents hear this and wants their child to come out, just have them come see Coach Fu. I have an information package to hand out that includes schedule, includes all the information, order forms, everything. Just come see me. I will take any kids, any shape and size. If you've never done a sport before, please just come out. We'll teach you what athletics is all about. Like I said, we're not going to cut you. We're not going to ignore you. You're going to be part of this team.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach Fu, for being part of the show, buddy. I appreciate you. I don't know if you've got somewhere to go, but I appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Hans, I'm going to bring Sean back on for a minute. He's got a quick sports update.
You ready? Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Sean.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey guys, sorry about this. I did not know they changed the game time. It's going to be a 7:30 tip-off for the varsity. The JV game you just saw there, that's not even the halftime yet. So, wish I knew that. So apologize for that. So you got plenty of time to get out here. The barbecues, I can smell it. The funnel cakes are smelling great. They're already feeding the scorers table. I can see them eating already. John, I did want to say something, if it's okay with you. Early this weekend, I posted something about the Morgan Center. I just want to clarify something. I don't ever want this show to be negative. I only want to be positive. And I meant in a positive way that I'm really thankful for the Northport High School coaches, both girls and boys programs, the alumni. They stepped up. They filled that void here at the high school floor. They had a summer program. It wasn't perfect. It was the first time doing it. They're not used to doing summer camps.
Sure.
Had a lot of flaws, but it was a quick, So I do apologize if it came off as negative. I've got a lot of people asking me, why did it take so long to make the decision? That's what I was trying to get at. I didn't know why. And I brought this up because way back when Hurricane Ian came, of course we had to triage how bad things were in the city. I get that. Months go by. We got a lot of damage still. And, John, you did medical at one time in your life. You know that we care about the physical and mental of our elderly, our adults. We also got to think about the physical and mental health of our youth. And when you take away what was and it still is a very popular venue for these kids for such a long time, I just can't help but feel that there's going to be some delay on that say Port Charlotte or Venice or Charlotte High might not have gone through. So I really think the value of our Morgan Center floor for basketball can't be underestimated to how it helps us here at Northport High School with our basketball program. So wasn't trying to be negative. So I want to be positive. At the same time, I did wonder why it took us so long to get that emergency money. They still don't have the date yet for when they can put those ACs in and put the floor down and let it rest and all that. So I just want to clarify that, guys.
I know I've just a quick update there. I know I've been talking with City Manager Jerome Fletcher about it, and hopefully we'll get some good, solid dates in the near future. I know that right now that's a specialty item that they're trying to replace as far as the AC unit goes. And with that being a specialty item, that's the reason it's taken so long. But I'll try to get us an update for next week's show. And try to
Why
get,
was it a specialty item? That's the next question. I get a lot of people asking me, why can't they have a universal, like the high school chillers or the hospital
Yeah.
chillers? I don't know what that was years ago. That wasn't this. That was not this city commissioner's decision. They didn't design the architectural plan on that. That was.
and we have to play on the court that they designed. How about that? So
Correct.
the easiest and the best way we can approach this right now is try to find out more information to support the community,
Right.
and try to help out where we can on getting the information out.
And Teddy D's
positive.
wrote me the other day. His league is already filled up. They maxed out. They already have 200. They're going to be starting the youth basketball program. They're going to be using the Heron Creek middle floor and Woodland the basketball floor. They're going to rotate back and forth. He's already got a maxed out basketball camp. That was amazing when I heard that. So he's like, I don't need to advertise anymore. I got there's no more room. There's no room at the end. So thank you so much, Teddy. And all the coach. I'm sure he's got Northport High School students helping out. Coach Wallace, Coach Tillman as well. So great way for our town to really step up when we need it the most on our basketball side, because we can't lose any momentum when you're talking about Port Charlotte, Venice, Riverview. We're surrounded by a giant cluster of great basketball teams. So any advantage that we lose, we just can't afford that. So I just want to get that in there, John. Sorry about that.
All right. Slide back to Hans, and you want to introduce the next topic?
Oh, Coach Hans, I missed I couldn't hear the interview at all about the track and field and how that was
we slid through track and field. Is there anything you need to add, Hans?
Well, Coach Hans, I can't think of anything. I got one thing, Coach. We got to congratulate Coach Hans. Your ladies cross country team won the academic 4A trophy. They're the smartest team in the state of Florida. So congratulations, Hans. I forgot about that. How's that feel? That's a pretty cool accomplishment.
To be proud of it. That's all the girls, and it's this same group of girls that you'll see in track. It's Malia and Ramos and Alana. They all have like these 4.0 GPAs. That's why it pushed the overall GPA to 3.92. And last year we were only 3/10 off the state championship.
Oh, stop it! Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Kid had a C or something in the entire year. That cost you the trophy.
It's definitely them, playing the three sports and the club, and then being that kind of a student.
Where do those young ladies find the time to do all that and still run? I can't imagine where they're getting the time for that. Because I'm going to guess most of them are in ACE programs as well, or VPA programs.
They're all ACE programs. Yes, they're all ACE students.
God.
And they're taking not easy class. You ask them, they're taking, I'm taking Calc 1, I'm taking chemistry and all that. It's not easy. And being a hit at home, because I have my daughter in the team, sometimes it's midnight, sometimes it's 1 a.m. She's still rolling, and that's the way it is. And the weekend, if there's no soccer, time to sleep in.
So you're like the least troubled team out there because they're too tired. They're either studying, running, or sleeping.
Busy mind. Get you out of trouble. We'll keep you out of trouble.
That's awesome. Well, I did want to bring something up, John. Kind of not a Hans thing here, but Saturday I was able to come by to see the wrestling tournament, the John Joyce Memorial Tournament. They had 20 schools here. The microphones wasn't working, so we couldn't quite hear the students. I do apologize. They had 4 mats on the court out in there. I've never seen it before. And wow, what an event. I didn't get individual results, but I heard they did Friday night, Sarasota Senior Night. Saturday was here at the Cage, and Sunday they held a youth wrestling tournament. So give it up to Coach Hill, 3 days in a row of back-to-back wrestling. I also was able to bump into Coach Drackler. I keep saying Drackler. Drackler's cheerleading had a clinic for the little ones, and I talked to her quite a bit. I didn't know that, just like Coach Hans was saying, these girls overlap. Some of the cheerleaders are in the VPA dance program. So I'm going to try to get an angle on that once season slows down a little bit. I'm going to try to get us in there as well to interview these multi-athlete student athletes that we have, so many of them on campus. So congratulations, Coach Hans. That is a fantastic achievement. I really liked hearing that a lot. So
all the girls.
I think I'm done. I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, Coach Hans, is there anything else you need to add in, or?
I want to say Malia has to go for gold this year in the 800. She got silver in the state last year.
Sorry.
Of course,
Yep.
that's Coach Fu's coaching her. On the thrower side, we got Cassie Mendez getting 6th place in the state this year. She's trying to get in the podium all the way. And Peyton Westmoreland is going to be one of the top throwers too in the area. So it's going to be fun.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, guys, real quick, next week, don't forget Monday night playoffs, girls soccer, district round right here in the preserve. Check the time and date for the prices. Tuesday night, next Tuesday, guys, come on out. We've got senior night. I want to say 6 or 7 of the seniors are of the Bobcats. How big they're a big senior team. So come on out next Tuesday, and we'll stay tuned for more playoff games throughout the week. What a great problem to have. We have too many playoff teams. What a wonderful thing to have. So, John, I want to thank you for coming. Let me come out here tonight. I appreciate this, Coach Hans, Coach Fu as well. I'll let you go, John. That's all I have. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. This is John Rawlings with Bobcat Blitz saying thanks. Have a good day and join us next week. We have another special show coming your way and encourage more people.
Baseball preview next week. Baseball preview's turn. They're up next.
Awesome. It's going to be fun. We had a lot of fun. Thanks,
Good night,
Coach
everybody.
Hans.
Take care. See you.